I am so excited by all the brands that are really pushing the envelope so far this year in terms of ideas, innovation, new notes, combinations, ideas, and there are so many fragrances that I want to add to my collection as a result. And there are also some concepts and some notes that I've realized that I do want to experiment with, but I don't actually own versions of in my collection. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you the fragrances that I want to add to my collection in 2025, as well as the brands that I'm really curious about trying more in 2025 as well. If this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances. I talk about them here 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. I also publish additional content on TikTok and Instagram under the username ANECHKAFRAGRANCES. If you're interested in fragrance history and learning about fragrance trends, things like that, I do have a podcast called The Fragrance Report. I launch a new episode every Wednesday, and I also publish the episode here on YouTube for you guys to watch as well. So, I actually did come up with this idea on a whim, and I did a poll on YouTube for you guys, and so many of you wanted to see the new brands that I am really curious about trying in 2025, and so many of you wanted to see this kind of wish list concept. But the way I'm going to be running this video is I want to break it down by notes and by accord. So I essentially have a list of the notes and the accords that I want to see more of in 2025, but more so the ones I want to add to my collection, because I have been going through all my fragrances and I've noticed that there are some categories that I'm all set with. There's some categories that I already have the fragrance that I really, really love in that category, and I don't really need any more in that category. But there are some categories that are very much missing in my collection. These are notes and, accords that I really want to experiment with and I really want to try, but I don't see them as much and I want to add them to my collection. So that's what this video is going to be. All right, so the first category that I really want to add to my collection, and there are a few fragrances that I have my eye on within this category, is lipstick. I just love the idea of smelling a vintagey, waxy lipstick. That to me just sounds absolutely wonderful. And a few weeks ago, I posted on TikTok about how I wanted to see more lipstick fragrances, and so many of you had some amazing suggestions that seemed to be really helpful. So I'm going to read some of them out to you. So the first came from Ellie Scent. She recommended trying Touch Finale by Chabaud. Apparently it's a kind of like a cosmetic inspired fragrance, very intriguing. That's definitely on the list. Also, Kai recommended I try something from Francesca Bianchi. I think that they have a fragrance that was a limited edition called Sticky Lips, which does not seem to be available anymore. But I think that brand in general seems to be really intriguing. I haven't tried anything from them, but she did recommend it as a brand that I might like based off of my tastes so far. Guilty Crush by the House of Oud was also brought up as a recommendation. I've tried that fragrance. It's just, I tried it, I liked it. It's not a love yet. I think it wasn't as waxy and it wasn't as prominent on the lipstick as I wanted it to be. Another one that is just a classic that I really want is Lipstick Rose by Frederic Malle. I think I might just get that one just full stop because it's a classic. It's been around for a really long time. I really love it. The Lipstick On fragrance by Maison Margiela was also brought up, as was Juliet Has a Pew Pew Lipstick Fever. So yeah, a lot of really interesting options. Someone suggested Iris Crush by Jimmy Choo. We also have a Givenchy Nude Velvet. Some of those are discontinued. So yeah, there are a lot of different options. But in general, I really want to try the Chabaud Touch Finale. I can never pronounce that one. So yeah, it has notes of mimosa, pink pepper at the top, a mid of violet leaf, rose, jasmine, and cedar, and then a base of heliotrope, white musk, and sandalwood. This seems really intriguing. I haven't heard much about this, but Ellie really recommended it, so I think I might grab it. I don't know. There's so many different options, guys. I'm really excited. So yeah, lipstick is definitely a category that I do want to add more into my collection. Another category that I'm really curious about is cotton candy. Now this is really niche, and there's actually a fragrance that I saw Greta Beth talk about. She went to Essence and she recommended this as one of the best fragrances that she found at Essence, and I have the fragrance pulled up on my phone. So there's this brand called Oscar London. They have a few really intriguing fragrances. They have a fragrance inspired by chess. They have some other fragrances inspired by musical notes. This musical note collection basically has a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do fragrances. And the one that really intrigued me was Me. Now, this is a fragrance that's currently available for pre-order. I will likely be talking about this line in general once it gets a little bit closer to the launch date. But Me is a fragrance with notes of juicy raspberry and sugary cotton candy, vanilla, jasmine, rose, magnolia, ginger, and Greta Beth actually did say that this literally smells like a very realistic cotton candy, and something about the description just made me really want that fragrance. So I was literally considering blind buying it. I don't know. It's $200, which is a lot, but she did recommend it. And I will say, when it comes to fragrance recommendations, when it comes to Greta Beth, like, her recommendations generally do align with mine. So I take a lot of her recommendations. I love her stuff. So I'm really tempted. Like, I might just get this one. This seems really intriguing, and it's also a really, unique looking brand. They have some interesting releases. So yeah, that's another one. I do want to say this last thing about cotton candy as a note. I don't necessarily want to have like the kind of cotton candy you might be thinking of. I want a hyper realistic cotton candy. I want to like actually feel like the flossiness, the lightness of the cotton candy. Like I want that hyper realistic one. So that's what I'm looking for. Another gourmand category, and there are going to be a few gourmand fragrances in this list that I really want. In fact, I think most of these fragrances are going to be gourmand, but the next one is Marshmallow. Now, you might be thinking, Kayali Young Bougie Marshmallow. Okay, that is a fragrance that actually inspired this, but it's not going to be the fragrance that I want to add. I actually did buy that fragrance, but unfortunately, I did feel the need to return it because it just did not last as long as I wanted it to. I know, everyone loves that fragrance. I'm probably the only person on the planet saying that I returned it, but it just didn't last as long as I wanted it to, and I hate to say it, but I'm actually looking at the dupe for it by Paris Corner, because this fragrance called Marshmallow Blush apparently lasted a tad longer, and it's $50, which is far more affordable, I don't care how you slice it, than the full price of the Kayali Young Bougie Marshmallow, which is $140 for the same amount. And I love Monaco Catan, and I feel like it's almost like a taboo topic to talk about duping Kayali fragrances because Monaco Catan is so beloved. But at the end of the day, like, it's a lot of money to spend on a fragrance that doesn't last. And yes, on some people it does last, but on me, like, I tried it, I wanted to love it, but I found myself spraying it like on like 10 to 15 times just to only get nose blind to it after a few hours, which is just not what I want in my fragrances. So that's why I wanted to go for the more affordable option. So I think I actually might get either a decant, or I might blind buy Marshmallow Blush if I'm feeling risky. We'll see, but I think I definitely want to get a decant. And by the way, when I'm specifically talking about marshmallow, I want something that smells light, fluffy, photorealistic. One of my favorite kind of marshmallow adjacent fragrances is Mallow by Sora Dora. I love this one. I essentially want to kind of get like the lighter strawberry marshmallow version of a marshmallow note fragrance. So that's what I want. So anyway, so moving on to the next category, I really want to have a matcha fragrance in my collection. And the one that I'm considering the most is Sunday by Ariel Shoshana. I've smelled that perfume. I really love it. Right now, I'm kind of torn between a few of the Ariel Shoshana fragrances. I really like all of them, but I'm torn between getting Monday, Sunday, and Friday. All those fragrances I love. Friday is a really unique citrusy orange perfume. Monday is that milky Earl Grey kind of tea London fog scent. And then Sunday is that matcha, which seems so delicious. So I don't know which one I want to get next, but when it comes to matcha, my favorite one has always been Sunday by Ariel Shoshana. So that would be the one that I would gravitate towards personally. Another category that I'm really interested in experimenting more and, getting in my collection is rice. I really want a good rice fragrance in my collection. So the one that is definitely the most intriguing for me right now is by Theo Cabanel. It's Je ne sais quoi. And this is a perfume that I do have a sample of, and I was kind of experimenting with it the other day, and I wasn't quite sure whether or not I liked that rendition of rice. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I really like the fragrance, but I don't know if it's like ricey enough. But this is a older fragrance. It's been around for a really long time, but it has a note of rice at the top, a mid of matcha, mate and violet, and then a base of sandalwood, I think Tolu balsam, gaiac wood, and vetiver. So it's a really intriguing fragrance. It leans a little bit more, I think, almost floral. I don't know. So yeah, I'm still trying it out. I'm still testing it out. Like I said, I do want a rice fragrance, but a brand that I also really want to try for this purpose is J.U.S. They have some really intriguing Asian-inspired fragrance notes in their line, and I also really do want to try Danam. I'm kind of going out of order here because I feel like Danam has a few different fragrances that would really fit into this video, but let me actually pull up their database on Fragrant and tell you which ones I have my eye on. So they have white rice, which of course I have my eye on because it's a rice fragrance, but they also have, I think, the Memories of Japan line, which has a few really interesting options. So they have matcha soft serve, which I have not tried, Sakura Snow, which I've heard a lot about, and this is kind of like a fresh and floral fragrance, but it seems to be really intriguing. It has juniper berry in it, which I love. But also strawberry mochi is actually one that I might just get. It's kind of, to me, an easy alternative to the strawberry marshmallow note that I really would like to have, but this is a fragrance that has notes of rice, brown sugar, strawberry, and red bean paste, as well as vanilla. I tried this at Royal Shoshana's the other day, and I loved it. This is definitely on the wish list. I honestly might just get it. It sounds amazing. Strawberry mochi, delicious. So yeah, I feel like I really do want to try more Asian-inspired gourmand notes because it's a category that I've been intrigued by for, I would say, the last few months, and I really do want to experiment more with it. Something else that I want to add more into my collection in 2025 is actually a category that I do have several perfumes in, but I want more, okay? I want more. And that is wine. I want to see more wine fragrances, specifically some, more varieties, essentially. One that I was really looking at and kind of, this is on my wish list for sure, is Ave Maria by House of Beau. I've heard so many good things. I really want to sample it. This is a fragrance that has a red wine note in there, but so many creators are saying this is a beautiful springtime fragrance, which sounds so intriguing. But we have gardenia, cashmere, jasmine, raindrops, neroli, sweet pear, merlot wine, oak wood, and leather. This sounds like ideally for me. So I would love to try this out. The bottle looks so beautiful too. And I will say, Bloody Wood by Liquide Imaginaire is a great fragrance that fits into this category. I do own it. I do love it. I think I posted a video about it on TikTok and someone asked about a dupe for it. There's some fragrances that don't even bother trying to find a dupe because it's really hard to dupe them. Bloody Wood is one of them. I have not found a dupe. I would definitely suggest getting the original in that category because sometimes when it comes to certain fragrances, they're going to be widely duped, right? And so it's kind of easier to find a dupe. When it comes to other fragrances, the ones that are really kind of more niche, a little bit more nuanced, sometimes it's just better to get the real thing because it's going to be the best option. And a lot of discount websites do have those fragrances available for, a lesser price. I got my bottle of Bloody Wood for, I think, $90, which is pretty great in my opinion. Full price, it's around $200. But yeah, that's a category that I do want to add more into my collection. And I have not gotten sick of it yet. Something else that I really want to add to my collection is a really good oud fragrance. Now, I have smelled a few fragrances in this category that I really like. One of which I do have a travel size available of that I treasure and that I love so much, but that is Infinite Oud by House of Beau. House of Beau is definitely a brand I want to try more in 2025. I have some travel sizes from them. I want to bite the bullet and get a full-size bottle from them. They have some amazing options and I love their concepts. But this is a fragrance that has top notes of myrrh, vetiver, and peyote, and then a mid of cedar, black pepper, and patchouli, and then a base of incense, balsam, and oud. I have had this fragrance, or I've had the travel size for so long, and I've wanted it I've wanted the full size for so long. It's been on my wish list for forever. So I definitely have this as a fragrance that I want to try. And then I also have another perfume that I want to mention. This is actually a perfume that I got to try in person and I was very intrigued by it. This is from the brand Veronique Gabai. I've met the founder. I've met Veronique. She is lovely. But I specifically was really interested in Oud Elixir. And her fragrances are so intriguing because they're all naturals, right? And the way those fragrances change on your skin is insane. Like, I definitely recommend trying her fragrances on skin if you can, because her fragrances wear differently on different people. So this is a fragrance with notes of rose and mate at the top, a mid of cypriol, myrrh, labdanum, and saffron, and then a base of oud, patchouli, amber, and gaiac wood. So a few really strong contenders for an oud fragrance. I do want to specify I am looking for an oud fragrance that just smells like a clean, beautiful woody oud. Not necessarily like a sweet oud in the traditional sense, like a rose oud combination. Just a beautiful oud, you know. That's what I'm looking up for, like a really high quality, preferably natural oud. I've smelled oud fragrances. I have yet to have one in my collection that's a natural oud. So I want to have a natural oud in my collection, and I'm looking for the right one. So that's it for this video. That was me yapping for 30 minutes about some fragrances that I really want to add to my collection. Is there anything in this video that really spoke to you? Are there any perfumes or any categories that you suggest me to try out? I would really be curious to hear your thoughts, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.